And to discuss more about this, we now have Pajajaran University International and Economic expert, Viany Puspitasari. Hello, Viany. How would you assess this situation?
Okay, thank you for the question. Well, according to the latest Global Economic Prospects report, global growth will slow from 2.9% in 2022 to 1.7% in 2023. And the outlook has several downside risks, including the possibility of higher inflation, even tighter monetary policy, financial stress, and rising geopolitical tensions. And global economic activity is decelerating sharply as a result of contemporized monetary policy tightening to contain very high inflation, less favorable financial conditions, and disruption from the Russian Federation invasion of Ukraine. And it seems like it's still beyond the road. And, growth has slowed to the extent that the global economy is perilously close to falling into recession, defined as a contraction in annual global per capita income. And major economies are undergoing a period of pronounced weakness, and the resulting spillovers are exacerbating other headwinds faced by emerging market and developing economies. And for emerging markets and developing economies, they are projected to experience subdued growth in 2023, with activities set to remain well below its pre pandemic trend. And to mitigate the impact of recent negative shocks and promote a strong and inclusive recovery, policymakers need to prioritize reforms that support long term growth prospects and bolster the resilience of vulnerable groups.
Okay, Vianney, you mentioned that recession is predicted due to the Russia-Ukraine war, high interest rates, and all that uncertainty. And so, what can we do in the face of this uncertainty that has greatly affected our global economy?
Well, concerning the Russia-Ukraine conflict, it has sent shockwaves throughout the world economy. Commodity prices, including energy, have increased sharply as uncertainty about supply disruption has grown. And in addition, sanctions and trade restrictions have been imposed on Russian banks, businesses, and individuals. Finally, the conflict has sparked a massive refugee crisis with over 4 million Ukrainians fleeing their country. And all of this is likely to contribute towards greater uncertainty in the economy among businesses, households, and financial markets. Um, and to this uncertainty, furthermore, it is driven by multiple factors, including energy usage, import exposure, discretionary spending, and direct links of company directors to the conflict region. And the implication of this uncertainty for businesses are still unclear, although the consequences of a protracted conflict will likely have adverse effect on multiple economic outcomes. And actually, it is a multifaceted problem that needs to be solved thoroughly through diplomacy and international cooperation as well. And it is not merely the problem of economy, but also international political one. And it is very needed that the international organizations, together with the nation states, I mean the country, work together to cope the problem by making, the real cooperation that will help any level in this international economy.
Okay, I agree with you that many other factors are also involved, resulting in this economic growth rate that is the slowest annual pace since 1960, which is 1.7%. And the World Bank also forecasts that amid slowing economic growth, the brink of recession, as you mentioned before, is open wide again. So what do you think about Indonesia's outlook in the near future?
Okay, thank you for the question. Well, facing the risk of an economic slowdown, Indonesia has prepared itself with policies, one of which is fiscal support through the 2023 state budget, or we call the so-called APBN, that is considered responsive and accommodative And Indonesia seems positive about its economic growth. And on last December 30, 2022, President Joko Widodo officially lifted public activity restriction against COVID-19 that eased public mobility and triggered more activities outdoors. And this means that the PPKM policy was lifted after observing Indonesia's COVID-19 cases for 10 months have been under control. And we hope that the situation will be better off in the months to come. And the easing of community mobility is a new factor that strengthens economic resilience internally because its impact can improve the performance of the service manufacturing industry and the micro, small, and medium enterprise sectors that generate the Indonesia's economic growth. And with the PPKM revocation, the flow of goods and people's mobility is expected to be smooth, and the undisturbed distribution of foodstuffs will stabilize prices and therefore maintaining a national inflation.
Okay, and as we all know, this slowdown of world economic growth has greatly affected so many countries, but especially the US as one of the prominent countries. It has slowed to 0.5% this year, or 1.9 below its previous projection. And this downgrade comes as the US experiences the fastest tightening of monetary policy in more than 40 years. So can we conclude that there's a decline in US economy? And what is the impact to Indonesia and Asia overall?
Well, to answer this question, basically it is so hard to encounter where the US economy is likely to falter meaningfully in 2023 with the risk of many resulting job losses. And, in 2022, as government spending receded, households drew on their saving, boosting consumptions and therefore corporate profits too. And however, these positive tailwinds for profits are now beginning to reverse, and corporations are unlikely to buy back shares on in or invest in capital expenditures given today's much higher interest rate environment. And the household savings rate is currently 2.4%, close to its lowest level ever. And with a weakening housing market, unless excess savings to tap that number is likely to rise. And government spending is unlikely to help drive profits given the split Congress that emerged from last 2022 midterm elections. And the now strong US dollar probably means that the current account deficit will stay negative well into 2023. And this in turn will definitely impact all the countries, including Indonesia. And that's it.
All right, and to conclude our interview today, the Global Economic Forum is currently taking place in Davos. So what is your expectation toward this and the global economic recovery?
Well, the World Economic Forum's annual meeting takes place in Davos today from 16 to 20 January 2023. And there are leaders from across government, business, and also civil society meet at a critical moment for the world. And what I expect from this event is that this forum can play an important role in tackling the numerous and interlinked challenges the world is facing now and find solutions through a public-private partnership. And knowing that all international economic and political actors coming to the event, and I do hope that this could be a way out of the crisis, and this can be a pathway to set a cooperation between all the parties that coming to that event.
Well, thank you so much, Viany Puspitasari, for your analysis and forecast regarding our economic condition. Stay safe and see you
Anytime,
later.
Dorothea.